Alright, so, like I said, we're looking at this not as division, but just as the process of synthetic substitution. Okay, so basically, what you're going to be given is that instead, you're going to be given this, and it's going to tell you when x is equal to 3 in this case. Okay, so it's x is equal to 3 is what you would be given, and you can ignore this stuff for right now. Okay, now the important thing is we always need stuff, like we said, to be written in standard form. Okay, so we need to reorder these variables. Okay, so like the x cubed term really should be first, so we need to rewrite them. Okay, for synthetic to work, they have to be written in order. Okay, and then what you're doing is you're writing the coefficients of each in the row. Okay, so that's basically what's happening here. 3, -4, -3, -2, and you have to keep the sign with them. Okay, and then whatever x is equal to, you stick it in a box out here. Okay, so this is what your initial setup looks like. Okay, and then you draw this line across. I don't draw this line. This is just where your answer comes. That's why they have it written here, so I don't do that. But what is happening officially is that the first step is you bring down whatever that first number is. So in this case, it's a 3 that's coming down. Now you multiply 3 times 3, which is 9, and you put it under the next term. Then you just add them together. Okay, so -4 and 9 gives you 5. Okay, and normally we don't do this like step by step like this. It's all done in like one little thing. I'm just doing it like this to show you so you can see piece by piece, and then when we go to do them, obviously we'll do it all as one thing. Okay, so yeah, so after you add these together, then you multiply 5 times whatever's in the box over here. So in this case it's 3. We get 15, and we write it here. Okay. -4 plus 9 is 5. It's positive 3. So then 15 minus 3 is 12. Okay, and then the last one, you do 12 times 3, 36, minus 2, and that's going to give you 34. Okay, so for substitution, at this point, we are done. Okay, and that would be your answer. Now, if we were doing division, that would be something different, okay? But we're doing substitution, so that's just your answer there that you're looking for. Okay? So you may like direct substitution better, but this is a good opportunity to learn synthetic, because when we get to the synthetic division, there is no other option other than long division, which I promise you will hate. I don't like it. If I don't like it, I pretty much guarantee you won't like it. Okay? So, let's look at an actual problem. Okay, this is just kind of for you to reference. Like I said, you need to keep this for when we actually get to synthetic division. It will be later this chapter. But just keep it handy so that you have it, because we will come back to it again. Okay, and the other thing is that I'll point out as well is notice here that we were not missing any terms. So I had the cubed term, the squared term, the term to the first power, and then the constant term. I'm not missing anything. If I'm missing one, I have to put a 0 in that spot. Okay, if you don't put the 0, your answer will not come out right. Okay? Alright, so let's look at 16 first. Yeah, probably. I would say like probably Friday. So, because we don't have school Monday, so, and then we would review Thursday next week. Let's see. So 16 Okay, so this is all still 5, 2. F of x is equal to 8x to the fourth plus 12x cubed plus 6x squared minus 5x plus 9, and we're told that x is equal to negative 2. Okay? So, like I said, obviously you may be like, oh, I could just do this by direct substitution. You absolutely could, but that's not what the instructions say. So, we're going to set it up for synthetic. So the first thing I honestly do when I set up these problems is that I actually write the negative 2 in the box first, and then I work my way across to write the other stuff down. So negative 2, and box it off. Okay, am I missing any terms up here? No, so I don't have to worry about writing in any zeros, so I'm just going to write the numbers with their signs. If it's negative, I'm writing the sign. If it's positive, I don't have to write it. Okay, so I'm going to write 8, 12, 6, negative 5, 9, and then I'm going to draw the bar across. Well, it already is in descending order. So, but yes, you do need to do it in descending order. So if it's not, then you need to set it up that way. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is I need to bring down the 8. Okay, it's my first number, so it's just coming straight down. Okay, then I'm going 8 times negative 2 to get negative 16, and that's going underneath the 12. Do I need to slow down? Okay. I don't mind slowing down if I need to, so. Okay. Negative 16 plus 12, negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. 14 times negative 2 is negative 28. Negative 28 minus 5 is negative 33. Negative 33 times negative 2 is positive 66. 66 plus 9 is 75. And then I always square off my answer in the corner so that I know that's where my answer is. And that way I know that that is my answer to the substitution. Did I add something wrong? Oh wait, nope. I was looking at number 10's answer. I was like, why does it say 76? Yeah. So at that point you're done. I do too, but yeah, you're just substituting. So you just whatever that comes out to be, that's your answer. All right. 18. H of x is equal to negative 8x cubed plus 14x minus 35. X is equal to 4. Alright, so first thing, am I missing any terms? Okay, I'm missing the x squared term. So I would say while you're getting used to it, just so you don't forget, okay, you technically don't have to do this, but I would go in and write in negative 8x cubed plus 0x squared, okay, just so you don't forget to write that term. Because a lot of people will forget that, especially when you first start out, so that's why I would say I would write this step, but I will not require you to. Plus 14x minus 35, okay. So then now somebody tell me how to set up the table. Does everybody agree with her? Because it's 0x squared, so the x squared term is what we were missing. So we have to fill in a 0 for any that's missing. And another one that people often forget is sometimes they don't put a constant term on there. If the constant term is missing, you have to still write a 0. Okay, so you're not just like, oh, it's just at the end, I don't have to worry about it. No, that will also throw your answer off. Okay, so make sure any term that is missing, to keep it in descending order, you have to put in a 0. Okay? There just isn't for this one. All of them are optional. I could tell you to do this for x to the 8th plus 12, and then you'd have to fill in a whole bunch of zeros. So all of them are optional. But whatever your highest one is has to go first, and then they have to be descending with every term present from there on out. No, you can't just put it in there. If there's not an x to the 5th, you can't just put a 0x to the 4th. Do you guys think you can try one? Think you're ready to try one? Okay. We'll go with 20. Alright, g of x is equal to 6x to the 5th plus 10x cubed minus 27. X is equal to negative 3. Okay, so work on that one on your paper, everybody. Okay, and the answer is a really big number, so if you're concerned, just know that it is big. You're missing a term. If you go from cube to, so you can just, yeah, no, just that part. Yeah, you should have a big number. You're missing, so notice you go from the 5th term to the cube term. So you're missing a term there, and then you're missing 2 terms between that. So just get, yeah, so you need one right here, and then you need another one here. You need to put in another 0 here. You're missing 2 terms here, not just one. Because you go from cubed to the constant terms, you're missing the squared and then the x term. So you can just, just end. You're also missing the one more 0. You're missing the 0 between here. You're also missing another 0 between here. There's 2 terms missing there. This should be negative, because this is negative. And then now just add it. Something isn't multiplied right. You're really close, but that's not. I think one of these numbers is not multiplied correctly, I think. Yeah. Negative 3 and 18 is not 180. I think you're multiplying these numbers, or these numbers. You should be multiplying this one and this one. Yeah, 1 second. You wrote down 54 down here. It should be 64. That's a 10. But I think this isn't right. I think. Yeah. I know. I had that issue too. I was like, wait a second. Alright, so our biggest problem that I saw across the board was that we forgot that there were 2 terms missing between x cubed and the constant term. Okay, which is something, that's another reason I wanted you guys to do this one. Because that does tend to be like an issue. That's why I said I would rewrite it. So the first thing I did was I went and I rewrote it to be 6x to the 5th plus 0x to the 4th plus 10x cubed plus 0x squared plus 0x minus 27. That ensures that I am not missing anything. Okay? That makes sure that I don't miss a term and that I've accounted for everything in descending order. Okay? So then I write everything across, drop down the 6. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. So then that's negative 18. Negative 18, negative 3 is 54. That gives me 64. 64 negative 3 is 192. That comes down still negative 192. Times negative 3 is 576. 576 times negative 3 is negative 1728. And then adding everything together is negative 1755. Okay? Alright, let's try one more, and then I'm going to give you guys a couple to add on to your problems that you were working on yesterday, and then I'll create a tab for you to upload all of it together. Alright, so 22, f of x is equal to x to the 4th plus 3x minus 20. X is equal to 4. So I want you guys to try this one as well. I was assuming that was going to be the question, but I was just waiting to see. In front of x to the fourth, that is a 1. Okay. Well, with so many zeros, when you have, that's why, like, I space my numbers super far apart. That way. I have fiberglass in my hands, so I ripped shingles off yesterday. Well, when it's my wedding venue, I kind of have to, so. I mean, it's the farm, so. The treehouse isn't pretty. That's why we're fixing it. Well, it kind of fell, so there's not a treehouse, but yeah. All right. So do we have an answer then? Does anybody agree with her? What do you have? Okay. Anybody else have a different answer? I think she said 248. Okay. So we're missing two terms here. Okay, the x to the fourth we have, so then we need to have the cubed term and the squared term. We have the first power term and we have the constant term. Okay, so you write it all across, bring the 1 down. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 0 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. 64 plus 3 is 67. 67 times 4 is 268. Minus 20 is 248. Okay, because we have time, I am going to introduce something to you. I'm not going to give it to you on, like, the quiz or test, but I want you to see it so that you're not super, super confused when you get to pre-cal. It's not. It's really easy. It's super easy. Next week. Yeah. Yeah, because it technically is in this section, and we have time, so I'm going to do it. Yeah, it's going to take like 5 minutes. Okay, look in your book on page 339. Open your books to 339. Okay, so we're looking at something called end behavior. This is basically, in short, what happens to the graph as x approaches negative infinity or positive infinity. Okay, that's the only thing I'm about to write down other than we're going to look at like 2 problems. But that's why I want you to look at the top of page 339, okay, the key concept there in behavior of polynomial functions. Okay, so I'm not really looking at the whole degree leading coefficient stuff right now. I just am looking at the graphs, so I'm going to put them up here once everybody gets this little definition written down. Do you need glasses? Sideways 8. It is an infinity sign. It's your notes. I don't care how you write it. Okay, so we're going to look at these graphs really quick, and then we'll look at like a couple problems. Okay, so basically we're looking to what happens as x goes way out to the right and way out to the left. Okay, so as it goes to negative infinity and positive infinity. Okay, so this graph, as x gets really, really small, I guess you could say. Okay, I like to think of a really, really big negative number, but it's technically really small. Okay, as it goes really far to the left, this graph is going down. Okay, so basically, as x goes really far left, where is y going is essentially what you're looking at. In this case, y is going really far down, so you would say it's going to negative infinity. Okay. The other side of it, as x gets really, really, really big to the right, so it's going up, so y is going up to positive infinity. Okay. On this other one, okay, it is going really, really big left. It's going up. So it's going as x goes negative, y goes positive. Okay, as x goes negative, y is going up, so y is going positive. Okay, on this side, as x goes positive, y is going negative. Okay, down here, these are even functions. Okay, these 2 are odd functions. Okay, and it tells you what the deal is with the leading coefficient and stuff like that. But normally we just look at the graph and talk about it. Okay, or we plug in like really big numbers, which I'll show you in just a second. Okay, for this one, as x goes really far left, okay, as it goes negative, y is going positive. But it's even, and also, as x gets really, really big positive, y is also going positive. Okay? And this one, as x gets really, really big to the left, y is getting really, really small, okay, it's going negative. Okay, and then as x gets really big positive, y is going negative, so it's going to negative infinity. Okay? This is why I'm not like actually making you guys do it. I just want to intro it. Okay? I'm going to give you like one problem in the homework for it, but that's like 1 or 2 just because they're really fast. Okay. So look at problems 28 through 36, okay? We're just going to look at like 2 super basic ones. Okay, just so you've seen this before. It wants to know what happens as x goes to negative infinity and x goes to positive infinity. So 28 f of x is equal to 10 x to the 4th. Okay? So as x goes to negative infinity and x goes to positive infinity, we want to know what's happening. So a lot of times the way I think about this is I plug a really big negative number in here and I see what's happening. So for this one, if I were to plug something like negative 500 for x, what's happening to it? Yes, what about the sign? Positive or negative? Okay, it's going to be positive because it's raised to the 4th, and there's not another negative out here, so it's positive infinity. Okay, if I plug like 500 in here, what about the sign of this one? Still going to be positive. Okay, so both of those are positive. Okay. All right, one more, and then we'll be done. F of x is equal to negative 2x cubed plus 7x minus 4. Okay, so a common misconception here is that you need to look at every term that has an x. But when I want to know what's happening is x is going to negative infinity or x is going to positive infinity, I only need to look at the biggest term. So I only need to look at the term that has the highest degree. So if I were to plug in negative infinity here, okay, ignoring all of this, what's happening? So if I were to plug in like negative 500 here, what's happening to it? Okay, it's going to be positive because a negative number cubed is still negative times the negative 2 is going to make it positive. Okay, and then if I were to plug a positive number in here like 500, what's happening to the sign now? Okay, it's going to be negative because the x cubed, obviously that's going to stay positive, but it's times the negative 2, so it is going to be negative infinity. Okay? So you're only focusing on the biggest term, because the other ones are going to be irrelevant as you go out to infinity. Like if I plugged a million in here, this 7 times a million is going to be pretty irrelevant compared to a million being cubed and then multiplied. That's just going to be little extra stuff that we're going to ignore. So we're only going to look at the biggest term. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to give you 2 synthetic problems because y'all seem to do those pretty fast. 15, 19, and then I'm going to give you 2 of these so you have one that's even and one that's odd, 29 and 31. Okay? Again, 29 and 31, stuff like that you're not going to see on your quiz. This is just a little intro just so you've seen it before and you're not super confused when you see it later on.